Welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we are tackling a shift that is so fundamental. It's pretty much rewriting the operating system of the internet.
It really is. We're moving from a world of search and click to something more like ask and receive.
And that sounds subtle, but for a business, that's a huge deal. It's seismic.
Oh, absolutely. It changes how you get found, how you build authority, and, ultimately whether you even survive in the digital marketplace.
And we aren't just speculating here. We're building this whole discussion on a really solid stack of sources. We've got a foundational 2021 review by Al Mukhtar and his team on the mechanics of search.
And then we've got a very fresh, very heavy-hitting 2026 game theory analysis by Lime and others from the Journal of the Association for Information Systems.
Right, and to balance out all that academic theory, we also have some on-the-ground industry reports from places like Search Engine Land and Hubert Crew Marketing.
So we're really covering the theory and the practice.
Now, before we jump in, just a quick heads up for everyone listening. We know a lot of you are MBA students or maybe international professionals using this to sharpen your business strategy and your English. So our mission today is clarity. We're going to slow down on the complex stuff, define all the acronyms, and really focus on the strategic pros and cons from a manager's point of view.
Exactly. We want to get past the buzzwords and into the mechanics of what is actually happening.
So let's introduce the main characters in this fight. In one corner, the reigning champion for, the last 25 years? SEO, search engine optimization.
And in the other corner, the challenger, AEO, which is answer engine optimization.
You'll also see it called AIO, right? AI optimization.
Or even GEO, generative engine optimization. The industry is still kind of fighting over the name. But the concept is the same. You're optimizing for a machine that talks back, not one that just gives you a list of links.
So to understand the challenger, we really have to get the champion first. Let's look at the old world. How does that Al Mukhtar paper define traditional SEO?
They give a very clean, very classic definition. They say SEO is the methodology you use to improve a website's position on a SERP.
And SRP is the search engine results page.
Right. The whole goal is to maximize your organic traffic.
And just to clarify organic for everyone, we are not talking about vegetables here.
No. In marketing, organic means the visitors you earn, not the ones you buy. It's the people who click your link because it's relevant, not because it's an ad that says sponsored.
Okay, so how does the engine actually decide who gets that top spot? It feels like magic sometimes.
It's less magic and more of a huge logistical process. It all starts with crawlers. They're often called spiders.
Typical software programs just scanning the internet.
Exactly. They're automated. They visit a page, read the text, find all the links, and then they just follow them. They're mapping the web constantly.
So the spider finds my website. What happens next?
Next up is indexing. You can think of it like a giant library card catalog. The search engine takes all the data the spider found and files it away in this massive database. If you're not indexed, you basically don't exist.
And then the final step, the one everyone obsesses over, ranking.
The ranking algorithm. This is the secret sauce for Google or Bing. It looks at what you typed in and sorts through that entire index to decide which page is the most relevant and the most authoritative.
The Al Mukhtar paper makes an interesting point, distinguishing between crawler-supported engines and human-powered directories. Is that still relevant today?
It is, in a way.
Yeah.
Back in the early days of the web, you had directories like Yahoo, where actual people organized the links. Now, of course, crawler engines like Google dominate. But that idea of human validation is making a huge comeback with AI, which we will definitely get to.
So why have businesses spent billions, probably trillions of dollars on SEO over the last couple of decades? What's the business case?
It really boils down to three things: visibility, ROI, and credibility. Visibility is obvious. If you're on page 2 of Google, you might as well be invisible.
Nobody goes there.
Nobody. And ROI is return on investment. SEO takes time, but unlike ads, once you rank, you stop paying for every single click. Plus, you're getting high-intent users.
Someone who is actively looking to buy something.
Exactly. If they search for best CRM for small business, they're ready to buy. That's a valuable lead.
And that third one, credibility, I think we all feel that. I almost always skip the ads at the top of the page. I just trust the first real result more.
That's it. That organic spot signals authority. But, as the sources point out, SEO isn't perfect. Al Mukhtar talks about the competition limitation.
Which is basically a zero-sum game, right?
Precisely. There's only one number one spot. If you and your competitor are both doing perfect SEO for the same keyword, one of you has to lose. It's fierce. and it's slow. It takes months to see results.
Okay, so that's the world we've been living in. Now, let's bring in the disruptor. We're moving from typing keywords to asking full questions. This is where AEO comes in. How does the Huber Crew marketing report define this?
They define AIO or AEO as the practice of structuring your content so that AI systems, like chatbots, can discover it, understand it, and, this is the most important part, cite it.
Cite it. This feels like the key word.
It's the pivot. Think about the user journey. Old way.
Hmm.
You search, you get 10 links, you click a few, you read, you figure out the answer yourself.
The new way.
You just ask.
Hmm.
The AI reads the websites for you, puts it all together, and gives you a single paragraph.
That sounds amazing for the user. For a business that needs website traffic to survive, though, that sounds terrifying.
It's the zero-click threat. We'll get to the economics of that, but first we have to understand how the AI is even doing this. Is it just making up an answer?
Right. Is it hallucinating? Or is it actually looking things up?
Chris Silver-Smith from Search Engine Land explains that modern AI search uses a process he calls fanning out.
Fanning out. What does that look like?
So imagine you ask a complex question like, what are the strategic implications of high interest rates on global supply chains?
Okay.
The AI doesn't just look for that exact sentence, it breaks it down. It runs a bunch of little background searches for things like interest rate effects and supply chain logistics and inventory costs.
So it's basically doing multiple Google searches itself in the background super fast.
Exactly. It's like a research assistant on overdrive.
Right.
It runs the searches, reads the top results, pulls out the key facts, and then runs you a summary. This is why traditional SEO is still so important.
Because if you're not in those background search results, the AI can't find you to summarize you in the first place.
You're invisible to the machine.
That's probably a relief for a lot of SEO professionals listening. Your job isn't obsolete. You're just feeding a new kind of user now.
You are feeding the machine. And this brings us to two acronyms that every MBA needs to know right now, LLM and RAG.
Okay, let's break them down. LLM.
Large language model. That's the brain. That's the technology behind ChatGPT or Gemini. It understands language, grammar, how to sound human.
Got it. And RAG.
RAG stands for Retrieval Augmented Generation. I know it sounds technical.
It does.
But the concept is simple. It just means the AI can go retrieve new information like looking up today's stock price before it generates an answer.
So without RAG, it's just using old memories. With RAG, it's like an open book test.
That's the perfect way to put it.
Okay, so we get the mechanics. Now I want to put my manager hat on. If I'm leading a marketing team, what are the strategic pros and cons here? Let's start with the upside.
The big pro is what we can call optimization for extraction. If an AI answers a question and cites your brand as the source, that is the ultimate stamp of authority. Huber Crew Marketing calls this passing the extraction test.
The extraction test, what does that mean in practice?
It means, can a robot easily pull the facts out of your content? If your website is just a wall of vague corporate marketing speak, the AI is going to ignore it.
But if it has clear definitions, bullet points, data tables,
The AI says, thank you, I will use this. Clarity becomes a real competitive advantage.
but we have to talk about the con. You mentioned that zero-click threat.
This is the elephant in the room. If the AI gives the user a perfect summary, they have absolutely no reason to click through to your website.
And for MBA grads who live and die by metrics like traffic and page views, this completely breaks the dashboard.
It shatters the dashboard.
Mm.
You might be influencing millions of people with the AI's answer, but your website analytics will show 0 visitors. The key metric has to shift from clicks to something like share of voice or citation frequency.
So you're influencing the market, but they aren't coming into your store.
Exactly.
There's another strategic layer here that I found really interesting in that 2025 RCIF paper by Chen and his team. They found a specific bias in who the AI trusts.
This is a huge insight, especially for PR teams. They found that these AIs show a systematic bias toward earned media and away from brand-owned content.
Let's define earned media for our international listeners.
Sure. Brand-owned content is what you say about yourself on your own website. Earned media is what other people like news sites, review blogs, industry journals say about you.
So if I write on my homepage, my software is the fastest, the AI is skeptical.
Very skeptical. It sees that as marketing fluff. But if a trusted industry blog writes an article that says, this new software is the fastest we've tested, the AI treats that as a fact, and it will use that in its answer.
Wow. That implies a massive shift in where you put your budget. You might need to move money from your content team over to your PR team.
Or at least make them work together much more closely. Getting other authoritative people to talk about you is now more valuable than just talking about yourself.
I want to pivot now to the economics of this whole ecosystem. We have this dense but fascinating paper by Liggy et al. From 2026. It looks at the relationship between search engines and SEO firms through the lens of game theory.
This paper really tackles a question that's been debated for years. Do SEO agencies actually hurt Google?
The thinking being, if I pay an agency to trick Google into ranking my mediocre website at the top, I'm making Google's product worse for everybody else.
Exactly. I'm manipulating the system. But what Lie's analysis shows, mathematically, is that the opposite is true. They argue SEO firms create what they call constructive competition.
Constructive competition? How does that work?
Think of it like an arms race. If a search engine has a really simple, weak algorithm, SEO firms will just exploit it with spam and cheap tricks. So that forces the search engine to invest to make their algorithm more robust.
Robustness is a key term in that paper.
Yes. Robustness is the system's resistance to being manipulated. And effectiveness is the quality of the results for the user. The paper argues that because SEO firms are always trying to find loopholes, search engines are forced to constantly get better at both.
So the spammers actually make the police better?
In a way, yes. It creates this balance. If the search engine becomes too robust, so it's impossible to optimize for, the whole SEO industry would die out.
Yeah.
But if it's too weak, spam takes over and users leave. They need each other.
And the paper suggests this actually makes the whole market bigger.
Yes, because a better search engine attracts more users, which creates more value for everyone. So Google and the SEO agencies are frenemies.
Yeah.
They fight, but they need each other to thrive.
That's a surprisingly optimistic take. But let's bring this down to earth. A listener is a marketing manager. They've got a budget, a team, and targets. Based on all these sources, what's the play?
You can't just pick one. You can't say, SEO is dead, I'm only doing AI stuff. The sources all point towards a dual strategy.
Explain the dual strategy.
You have to optimize for two things, discovery and extraction. Discovery is your traditional SEO, getting into the index, ranking for keywords, so you can feed that fan-out process we talked about.
And extraction.
That's AIO, formatting your content so that once the AI discovers it, it can easily understand it and cite it.
Okay, let's get tactical. What are, say, 3 things a manager can tell their team to do tomorrow?
First, focus on EEAT. It's Google's own acronym. Experience, expertise, authoritativeness, and trustworthiness.
And how do you demonstrate that?
Well, don't have anonymous blog posts. Put author bios on them. Show credentials, cite your sources, make your content look like it was written by a real human expert, not a content farm. Both Google and the AIs use this as a filter for truth.
Okay, tactic number 2.
Schema markup. This is a bit technical, but it is so vital. It's basically invisible code you put on your website that labels data for the machine.
Give me an analogy.
Imagine you have a jar of white powder in your kitchen. To a robot, it's just white powder. Schema is the label on the jar that says ingredient, sugar. On a website, you use schema to tell the AI, this number is a price, or this date is an event.
You're removing the guesswork for the AI.
Exactly. Make the AI's job easy, and it will reward you. And the third tactic is structure. The Hubrig report really emphasizes this. Don't write long, flowing walls of text. Use comparison tables. Use bullet points. And answer the user's question directly in the first sentence.
So if the question is, what is SEO?
Yeah.
You don't start with a history lesson.
No, you start with SEO is, and then give the definition. Be machine readable.
There was one last clever point from the light paper about paid ads.
Yes, the synergy. They suggest using your paid search marketing data, your ad data, to guide your SEO strategy.
Because with ads, you get data almost instantly.
Instantly. You can see which keywords people actually clicked on and converted on today. SEO takes months. So you use your ad budget to test your keywords. Find the winners, then tell your content team to build your long-term organic strategy around those exact topics.
So don't keep your ad team and your SEO team in separate silos.
Never. In this new world, integration is everything.
We have covered a lot of ground. From the spiders crawling the web to these AI synthesizers reading it for us, it is very clear we are in a major transition period.
We are. We're moving from a world where the main goal was traffic to a world where the goal is influence.
And as we wrap up, I want to leave our listeners with a provocative thought that came up in the reading, especially about the sustainability of this whole model.
Ah, yes. The Ouroboros problem, the snake eating its own tail.
Right. The entire free internet is basically supported by ads. We get to read news and blogs for free because we visit the site and we see the banners. But if the AI reads the site for us and just gives us the answer, we never visit the site.
And if we don't visit the site, the publisher doesn't make any money. And if they don't make any money, they stop writing articles.
And if they stop writing articles, the AI has nothing new to learn from.
It is a massive economic paradox. The AI companies are harvesting the web's data to build products that might just destroy the web's ability to create more data. How that gets resolved, that's the biggest question for the next decade.
Something to think about the next time you ask a chatbot for a quick summary. You might be saving yourself some time, but you might also be starving the source.
It's a very delicate balance.
As a final challenge for all of you listening, look at the next search result you see. Ask yourself, was this written for me, the human, or was it structured for the machine? Thanks for joining us on the Deep Dive.
Goodbye, everyone.